on the lush grasslands of Croydon, as the humble tortoise gently mounts his chosen mate. And in a dance as old as time itself, it rears its head and emits the mighty mating call.
And hello fellow tankers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks. And today guys, we are in a Tortoise. Yes, I finally got into the grind for my Death Star. So I wasn't looking forward to this grind, to tell you honestly, because I was expecting this to be difficult and grueling kind of grind. But it turned out to be much better than I expected. Actually, it turned out to be so good that I decided to keep my Tortoise, and I slammed the camo on it, and I don't think I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna keep this tank simply because there's something special about this tank, and the special thing is the rate of fire. Guys, this gun, the top gun on Tortoise, is absolutely spectacular. You reload in about 5.8 seconds, I think, my setup, the way it sits right now with rammer. So yeah, one thing you have to watch for, guys, this thing is a real turtle. It moves sluggish. Top speed at 20 kilometers an hour. Many times you'll find that you will not even get to the bottle before it's over. And that's what I found with this tank, unfortunately. But in a way, you actually, when you're slow to the battle, you catch all these guys that try to sneak in and put rear shots into you. And obviously the biggest enemy of the Tortoise are the light tanks. But if you catch them on track and you use your rate of fire, you shred them to pieces, because your average alpha is about 300, I would say about 360, somewhere around there. So yeah, this gun can shred things to pieces at over 300 alpha, between 300 to 400 alpha at every 5.5 seconds or something of that nature. It's absolutely incredible. So initially, I think I played this tank wrong. The way I had my crew set up, I had it set up for spotting and sniping. So I was running coded optics on it, and my crew skills were basically, you know, I was optimizing for recon and situational awareness. But that was the wrong setup, and the first few games that I played in this tank were pretty horrific because of that. What you need to do with this tank, guys, you have to optimize it for mobility, because that is the very bad thing about this tank. It's the mobility. So you gotta help it the best way you can, especially clutch braking. So if the light tanks are gonna try to round you, if you have clutch braking, you'll be rotating your tank much faster. So that's the important thing. And also off-road driving will definitely help with your, maybe not top speed, but will help with your mobility as far as your maneuverability goes. So yeah, like I thought that this tank is going to be trash, but just take a look at this. I mean, this cruncher, yeah, he's gonna penetrate me in my cupola almost every time, but because my rate of fire too, I'm taking a lot more damage from him than he is taking damage from me. And basically that's what you have to do with this tank. You don't really have much armor per se because of that stupid big cupola that Wargaming should probably consider buffing at some point in time, because yeah, that's the one thing that's really Achilles heel for this tank. But if you set it up properly, like if you are playing it in the city, it's a good brawler in the city. If you hide the cupola behind the building, and I'll show you the clip later as far as how you can position your tank to negate people penetrating you in a cupola. But in many cases on open map like this, there's nothing you can do. Everyone's going to be shooting there. So it is what it is. Basically, you have to use your hit points and your rate of fire when it comes to that. Now, another thing about this tank is you should probably bring it to choke points, even in tier 10 matches, because your rate of fire would definitely be helpful for your team if you're bringing it into the choke. Obviously, you might not survive long at tier 10 because any tier 10 will load premium ammo and they're gonna pretty much go everywhere through the superstructure of this tank. They don't really have to aim at the cupola anymore. But I mean, you have no choice. Whatever tier your game is, you're gonna have to take this tank to a choke point, unless it's a big map like this without a choke. In that situation, what I usually tend to do is stay in a base and try to defend the base, because by the time I get to the action, I'm not gonna get there. So I have 2 games for you guys today. Both are over 5k. Actually, second game is much better result than the first one over here, but it was such a quick game that I thought I would post a couple of them so you guys see what this tank does. And yeah, in this game here, we basically ended up defending the base, and our team basically fell apart very quickly. So most of the game happens from one position, and in reality, every Tortoise game is going to be from single position, because you know, you cannot go far with this tank. It's just too slow to get anywhere. So on Erlenberg, unfortunately, that's the only strategy, because if you move from your base, you'll find yourself somewhere in a no man's land, and you know that this tank can be easily penetrated from all the angles, left, right, back. It's just the front that's got a bit of armor, so that's what you're gonna have to use. And use the terrain effectively, because I can't remember the gun depression on this tank, but it's pretty good actually. So you can fight it on ridges, although people will still penetrate that cupola. So here we're holding on as long as we can. Now here, this is a clutch shot that didn't come off. If I could have killed this Centurion, maybe the game would have been a bit different. But unfortunately, there's only myself and light tank remaining here in the game. And artillery is going to start paying attention to me, because obviously I'm a slow target. So last thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try to take out this Conqueror. See, he penetrates me on the left side of my superstructure with his APCR rounds. So, and yeah, that's it. The pig takes me out. Although every tank on the red team left over is pretty much on low health. Actually, what is it? The Centurion is the one shot, except for this Charioteer that this light tank is engaging. So, Kolobanovs maybe? I was thinking, he's got 2 RDs left. He's got a couple of tanks with very little health. If he could take out the Charioteer over here, and the guy seems like he's got 1 stripe on his barrel, so maybe he knows what he's doing. I was hoping that he can carry us here, but then after he slams into the building here, my hopes weren't very high anymore. But hey, it could happen to anyone, right? So he goes around this Charioteer. He puts 1-2 shells into him. Can he take him out? Yes, he takes him out. So only 4 tanks remaining, and you can see Centurion chasing him here. So I was kind of clicking on the map telling him, but he's making the right decision here. He's ignoring the Centurion, and he's gonna go after the Arty, and that's what I would do exactly in this situation. Arty is the thorn, especially on a big map like this. So I was hoping he could take out the Arty here, then take out the Centurion. Then all he has to do is come back on the base, on our base, because he knows where Tortoise is sitting, and basically go behind him and try to take him out of the game. Sounds simple, right? But look what he does here. Why on earth would you stop in front of a 150mm gun, or whatever it is? It's a huge freaking gun. Why would you do that? Guys, in your light tanks, never stop. always continue driving. When you stop, you're dead. You have no armor or anything. There's no way you can bounce any shots. Never stop in your light tank, especially when you drive in front of artillery that's aiming at you. That's not the way to do it. Anyway, we finished with over 5k damage. You can rack up damage in this tank very, very fast. Very, very fast. I noticed that you can easily average about 3000 damage in this tank. So here I'm going to show you the positioning that I got a lot of blocked shots in here, especially versus tier 9s. Don't have, you know, great penetration. This is going to work. So you angle the tank slightly. You cover the cupola behind the building on the right hand side and make them shoot your left side, just like this. Unfortunately, in this situation, I had a tank that was sitting on my right side and my team was neglecting to fire on him. So he was taking basically freebies on me here. He was hitting me in my side while my team was basically doing, I don't know, watching the clouds. I don't know what they were doing. Anyway, so yeah, that's the way to do it. And patience is another thing. You have to learn patience and track people. With that rate of fire, you're gonna have to track people and get assisted damage. That's the way to do it. But here, take a look at that. See, they have trouble penetrating me because I'm hiding the cupola, and they're like, whoa, what should I do? I don't see a cupola. Where am I supposed to penetrate this thing? Well, in this situation, I guess you're gonna have to load your premium ammo and try to hit the superstructure or a machine gun port. Anyway, so yeah, it's slow tank. Its mobility is absolutely horrific, but you know what? The gun makes it worthwhile. And like I said to you guys before, I thought I wasn't gonna keep it at all, but then after I noticed how this gun performs, how good it is, and see, you can hit tracks from far distance because of accuracy of this gun. So use it effectively. And if you have clutch braking, basically light tanks are gonna have hard time going around you. And like this guy here, see, you can easily rotate your tank very quickly. And I managed to track this guy and he gets taken out of the game. The problem though is, once the battle is over on your side of the field, usually you have nothing to do. You're either gonna die because you're the last one remaining, or your tanks are gonna run off to kill the rest of the team and you're never gonna get to the fight. That's the way it is. So city maps are the best for this tank, especially a map like this, where you can basically, when you can get to town, engage quickly instead of going kilometers to get to the choke point. And that's exactly what you want to do with this tank. So we are on Ruinberg in this matchup. We're at the top tier, and you can see, you're gonna see in this game how we're gonna shred the opposition into pieces. It's just gonna be amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, small maps, optimize your tank for mobility, and on small maps always go to the choke point regardless what tier it is, and you will always end up with 2 or 3k damage, trust me. But don't miss shots like this one. That was a bad shot. Poor anticipation on my side. Anyway, look at these guys. So nowadays, that's World of Tanks. Everyone just throws their tank away. They just come out and they YOLO. 3 versus 1. Let's YOLO that guy. Well, if you want to YOLO, but you have to make sure that there's no one behind that guy taking pot shots at you just like this. So as you can see, I have so many targets here. And I think the 103 is actually shooting heat. He penetrated me in the bottom plate. And that's the thing, you load the heat round, you can easily penetrate this tank anywhere. But that rate of fire, my goodness. They already changed their minds. They don't want to be coming in this direction. Retreat! Everyone retreat! So, we're gonna continue further. And we see this Pershing, and what we're gonna try to do is track him. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a repair kit. It's his problem. He should have been carrying a repair kit here. So yeah, we track him and we juice him, take him out of the game. So I was gonna progress here to the left, but then I realized there's an Artie there. I might have a shot at him. So I tunnel vision on the Artie, and yeah, people scorch me on the left side. They hit my side. So here I see the AT-15 in front of me. I'm gonna scoot behind him because he's full health to make sure they're not hitting me. I want to keep utilizing my gun to best of my abilities. And we have so many targets to shoot at here. Unfortunately, this shot bounces because Minutemen decided to show up and go in front of the shot that I was aiming at AT-15. And these tanks are easily penetratable with standard shells. As you can see, I'm hitting AT-15 superstructure and easily penetrate them. But then I try to hit the same spot again and I bounce. Figure that out. And honestly, AT-15 is a horrible grind. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. I actually bought AT-15 and I played maybe, I don't know, 10 games. I said, that tank is not playable. And I had it fully upgraded, top package. The tank wasn't playable. Everyone was penetrating me. Everybody. So it not only that it's slow, it has a decent gun, but very small alpha. So that wasn't a good grind. But Tortoise, I was really surprised. Really surprised of how good this tank can be if you put it in the right situation. So the only tank remaining on the opposing team is a Tortoise. So we're not going to get to that fight. As I mentioned to you guys earlier, once you're done with your fight, then you're never gonna get to the end kills because this tank is simply too slow. But in like 4 minutes time, we just shredded the opposition to pieces. Especially if you're a top tier and you're drawn as a top tier. This tank, man, it's a shredder. It is a shredder. So let's take a look at the end plates. We managed to put up over 5,000 damage with almost 2,000 assisted. That brings our total to about 7k combined damage. Fantastic game. We got high caliber metal. We got ace tanker. We had 15 penetrating hits with 3 kills. Yeah, we basically cleaned up. We cleaned up very quickly in this game. Unfortunately, the Tortoise on the opposing team didn't make the same play as I did. If he did, it would have been a much better battle than what this was. But let's take a look at the efficiency here at the end to top it all off. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go and check out CloneGuy72 and Gotta Dingy. They have some fantastic content on their channels. I'll leave links to their channels in the description section below. That's it for today. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit, checking out.